I don't feel bad when I see a woman mowing the lawns.
You know?
Thanks, Mom.
It should be a male's role to mow the lawns. Don't be like Aaron, walking past your auntie, walking past your mom, your sister,
Really
mowing the
contradicting
lawns
yourself.
and not feeling guilty about it.
My own success, if I was to have any, and maybe it's just getting up and going to work, and they're like, "That's a
Having a
successful
shower.
day. That is a very successful day."
shower.
You actually
Because
brushed your teeth?
And I don't want to be renting. That's another thing. I don't want to be renting. I want to own my own house. And I think for me to get there, it's to upskill and or either that or start an OnlyFans.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third installment of You Decide Podcast, YDP Podcast, where we love perspective. And at the end of the day, you decide. I'm joined by the usual hosts, Big Stacks as
How to do.
Of course, we have Bo and Jeff as well. Mina running the ones and the twos, Matua. And as always, we appreciate the likes, the subscribes, and all the support. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
But let's get straight into it, eh? Matua Slips, what do we got?
So today I've got a game called Guess the Sound.
Ooh.
I'm going to play you a snippet of a sound and you have to guess what it is. Sweet. Seki,
Got it.
Freddy.
here's round one.
Wait, are we all
That's a
car crash?
cardboard box getting crushed.
Nah.
Can we have it one more time? But
Yeah,
slow
we'll
motion?
Bowling ball?
Nope.
Oh, like Jeff and Aaron, where they just like throw stuff rubbish out to work.
Oh, what was that? Yep.
Throwing
You
cardboard,
got it.
throwing boxes.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yes, I got it.
Yee.
Come on,
Wow.
baby. Give me that.
What was it?
It was a rubbish bag.
Rubbish bag.
He didn't say. I didn't hear. I didn't hear a
Run
rubbish
Run the
bag in there.
replay. I said rubbish
Yeah,
bag.
I should have known that.
People are going to just assume that we're rubbish men, me and Jimmy.
Rubbish.
That we're for a living.
Round number two.
Is it? Oh, vending machine?
Photocopier.
Nope.
A scanner.
Nope.
Go again.
The rubbish truck picking up the rubbish.
What is it?
One more time.
One more time.
It's something that's picking something up.
Oh, is it a claw?
Nah.
Picking up a
The,
teddy bear?
the excavator.
Yeah.
Nah.
What is it?
Give up.
Give up.
It's a PlayStation 3 DVD disc.
Oh, man.
I
play
didn't have one
Xbox.
of those growing
Yeah.
up.
Aaron used to play that every day.
Nah.
He should have known.
What?
All right, next one. Ready?
Biting apple.
Nah.
Oh, squeezing a juice box.
Nah.
It's like
Cracking your
M&Ms,
knuckles.
like a little skittle, like a few left.
Yep, I'll give you that one. It's shaking a vitamin pills bottle.
Maybe.
You taking your vitamins?
Ew.
Why do they have to be vitamin?
You taking your vitamins?
Next one.
The train?
Nah.
Moving the rock from Jesus' tomb.
Rolling the stone away.
Rolling the stone away.
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Go again, bro.
Oh, removing the thing in the, what is that called?
Yeah,
in the
the
ground.
drain thing.
The drainage.
Nope. Okay, give up.
Yep.
It's a medieval casino slots game.
Matua, can you not come with your
Gamble
Your
responsibly.
addictions.
your addictions around here, buddy?
One more. Wanna take all?
Mhm.
Come on, me and you both got one.
Last try wins.
A cat. A tiger.
That's a dinosaur.
That's a lion.
Yep.
Tiger.
Yeah.
What kind of tiger?
A Bengal.
My favorite kind. All right. Second part of our show, a part that a lot of people seem to like is our Prove Me Wrong Hard and Fast Speed Debate.
Reigning champs, baby.
Yes, reigning champs right here. Discourse.
That's 2-0. You got a pair of Owens over here.
It's a game that everyone seems to like. Some really good feedback from our listeners. In saying that, just a little tiny disclaimer. I just want to put this forward, boys. We may not always share the views, but just for a bit of a laugh. Hey,
Yes.
aye? Can I get an eye up in here?
Oh,
Oh, no, we're dead serious about this.
we actually
we
believe
actually
it.
mean what we say.
That's why we win all the time.
Matua, what do we have on the cards today?
So this one's actually come from one of our YouTube comments, which has asked us to debate about whether men should mow the lawns. So today's statement is that men should mow the lawns and women should do the dishes.
Beautiful.
And who's for and against?
And for we have Bo and Jeff, and against we have Chris and Aaron.
Easy claps. Easy claps.
Bo, do you want to start us off? Since you threw me out
How
on the
long
bus
do we
last
have?
week.
How long do we have?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. 2 minutes starts now. Listen here. Listen here, right here.
See, I told you, he's
Look,
serious.
this is the thing. Okay? Men mow lawns, obviously, and women stay indoors to cook food. Because, why, Jeff?
The pandering.
For the first,
the pandering that's happening
no,
here.
for
is
the
amazing.
first,
Already down to a minute.
tell me a woman who knows their way around a lawnmower.
Oh, wow.
Go, name one right now.
Wow, my auntie.
Yeah.
Yeah, his auntie knows because he doesn't do any of the lawns at home.
My auntie knows.
And then do you feel guilty when you see your auntie mowing the lawns? Because
Aaron
you know
deliberately sees
deep
his auntie.
you know deep down inside that you should be mowing those lawns. Okay.
There's a little bit of guilt and shame there.
Yeah, there's definitely guilt.
Well, I know
because
both of you don't mow the lawns
know
at your
for a
house.
fact.
I did the other day, bro.
Firstly, can we say that having a lawn in today's having a backyard and a front lawn is luxury today.
It's really
Okay.
rare.
It's very rare. But if you do happen to have a lawn, and you do happen to have a lawnmower, then
Dishes.
you men get out there and mow the lawns.
Don't be like Aaron,
Yeah.
watching his
so
auntie
just
do
a
it.
question.
There are limitations between obviously what women and men can do,
Yep.
or women and
Okay.
men should do.
Alright, okay, great. So just a question for you two: do you guys like eat and then just leave it here like, oh, the woman will take care of it? Is that your
Nah, I do it myself.
We said nothing about dishes.
the quick
question.
the
That was the
statement?
question.
The
before
statement was
Yeah.
is that men
cooking.
Should, yeah, men should mow the lawns,
Right.
and women should do what?
The housework.
No one said
That was wow.
And
He said there was so much conviction.
not
like,
just
it was
dishes,
true, like,
vacuuming, laundry.
Aaron, I'm not even going to talk on this one. Aaron, take it away.
Look, it's so easy to go, the gender equality route. But we're moving. Okay, well, I will go there. We're moving into this day and age where women can do just as well as men in all things, right?
All things?
In all things, in most things.
Oh, so is it all
Interesting.
almost?
Well,
So is it all almost?
I can do all things.
Yes, Philippians.
I can do all things. But, look, it's really degrading for you to say that women can't. Men should just.
There was nothing about can't, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, there's
Well,
nothing
we
about
just said
can't.
they're very
We just
limited.
said that it makes more sense. Okay, it makes more sense, and it's more appropriate for male or for men to get out and mow the lawns.
And that's where I humbly disagree.
Why?
Wow. Like I said, I could sit here all night and talk about it, but just to bring one point to your attention. Thank you, Aaron, again. Beautiful. Summarized it beautifully. Look,
Because mostly,
If it's-
oh no, or
no,
I
no,
mean
no, no,
mostly.
no. Listen, if it's like 600 years ago, and you're like, go outside and kill the bear and bring it back to eat. Okay, I get it, right? But in today's day and age, I believe that as equal partners. Oh, you like that one?
I like it.
Okay.
Equals,
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go.
right? I
Yep.
believe that we should both share. That we both, and I'm telling you now, I don't feel bad when I see a woman mowing the lawns.
You don't?
I Thanks, Mom. I just,
Wait,
know?
you and Aaron must be on the same side. He walks past his auntie mow the lawns like once every month.
I don't know why you're talking. I've mowed the lawns the
And
most
he
out of
doesn't
everyone
have
on this
any
table.
guilty conscience
I've
at all.
mowed the lawns the most
That-
out of everyone in this
Okay,
table.
That
what
team is sick over there.
what stroke? What
But
stroke
like
does your lawnmower take?
But
Is that
sometimes,
2-stroke or 3-stroke?
but sometimes, right? 4. I like to let my auntie mow the lawns for her own sanity. You know?
yeah.
It's a
So insanity is
no,
what?
no. It's a way for her to get out and relax. You know, just take everything off.
That's it.
So then, do you walk straight into the house and go and do the dishes?
Of course.
Do
Of course. I go
You
in,
walk
I put
into-
on the dishwasher.
you walk into the house and vacuum the house?
How much, on average, how much does a lawnmower, an average size lawnmower weigh?
Well, it depends.
About 30 kgs or something.
Yeah, I'd say so. About 30, 40
you guys
kgs.
using the old
30 kgs.
models.
So are you gonna sit there and watch your poor mothers or your poor sisters sit there,
Or poor aunties.
yeah, and carry that thing around or push that thing around, and then when you have to pull out of the car or maybe put it back in the car, you're just gonna sit there and say,
I don't know
you're able.
Oh, you guys don't have the ones where you sit on top of it. That's why.
We're a bit old
That
school,
makes a
bro.
lot of sense.
Yeah.
Let me guess, your weed
Not
eater.
everyone can afford
You go
those,
around
Chris.
with the weed eater. Okay, yeah.
That's the one you watch at church when it goes past, like.
We have to use a sapelo on my
and they're
house.
just like sleepy.
This isn't Samoa. We have to use
We have to use a sapelo, man.
Sauce of the vowel. It's not like that.
All right, closing statements.
Hey, like we said,
Okay.
it should be a male's role to mow the lawns. Don't be like Aaron, walking past your auntie, walking past your mom, your sister,
You're really
mowing the
contradicting
lawns
yourself.
and not feeling guilty about it.
There
There
is.
should be. Men are wired to do the outside work, all right?
Ooh, there's nothing manlier than a man who can get out and mow the lawns. People of the jury, that's it. Okay.
You know what's more manly than a man doing manly things?
Men.
Yeah, that's.
Hey, listen. First of all, it's not 1930 anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, wake up. It's 2022. If your auntie, if your mother, if your sister wants to mow the lawn, you know what? Power to them. More power to them, eh, Aaron? That's what I'm.
So you want them to mow the lawns and then come inside the house and do the dishes and vacuuming.
So what are you two
Sickos.
doing?
These two are
If
sickos.
that's what they want to do, Jeffrey.
Who am I to
Let
tell
them
them
do
no?
it.
Yeah, who are we?
But
Who
do
are
they have to
Who
do
are
it?
we?
Do
Who
they
are
have
we?
to do it?
Do they have to do?
Yeah. Do they have to mow the lawns?
I don't think they have to mow the lawns. But like I said, if it's brings him some kind of peace.
Listen to these two.
Listen.
Listen to
Okay.
these two.
And the winning team is, drumroll please, Aaron and Chris.
Yes.
They had more valid points.
Kia ora. Kia ora.
Is that because we won twice in a row?
Twice
We can't
in a row.
win 3 in a row.
What are you talking about?
He just
You
claimed-
barely won
Wow.
last week because he gave it to you. You felt so. Anyhow,
So what was their main point? Nothing. Because they just.
Me and I
was
can't
this
even
60 years
remember
ago? Is this 1930s? That's all I heard.
Hey,
Anyways.
yeah. No, we've gone now. We've left it. We're in a new space. Speaking of new spaces, this is the part of the show where we kind of like to dive a little deeper, eh, boys?
Yep.
Just a little bit deeper, into a certain topic or a point of discussion, eh, boys?
Yep.
With that being said, I'm just gonna pass it over to Luso. Bo, what do you got for us, bro?
Sweet. So previously we talked a little bit about creating an environment, and being able to have good people around you in order to not progress, but just for your sanity, mental health, and everything like that. I wanted to bring to the table today, what about the success side of things? Okay, so we talked a little bit about being independent while being in a family or in a community, but I wanted to dive a little bit deeper and bring to the table success, mainly because I started thinking about success in a family setting. With the biggest question being, okay, I'm going to be independent, and a lot of the work that you do independently, whether it be school or whether it be work, your individual career, is it for yourself independently? Is it for your benefit, or is it for your family. And a lot of our Pacific younger community or younger generation would be able to relate to this question, because they're in a situation where it's almost like they're trying to find their stance, and whether am I striving for success for my family, or to do right by them, and then trying to balance it out with, or am I trying to set myself up for the future? So I wanted to put it there, and there's a classic one. There's a classic, the typical idea or the typical image per se of success, according to a lot of parents out there, is getting capped there.
Oh, yo,
it's the marching down Queen Street and walking up,
Graduating.
and graduating.
Yep.
And I just wanted to put it forward, and just get your thoughts on that. Like, are we moving away from that that idea of success, and a lot of our people doing it just to satisfy the needs, not the needs, but more the dreams and the aspirations of family, namely your parents. I'll open it up.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think I'll just speak first to that point you made about independence, and we talked about this before, about being surrounded by good people, and surrounding yourself with people who will support you and uplift you, and challenge you, call you out on all that stuff. Now, if I think about my family, and I think about success, and then I think about independence, right? Of those three things, two of those I don't see happening without each other. That's my family and success. Right. And I'll put this to you guys as well. Like, just yes or no. Do you see success as something that you can achieve on your own without your family?
I can see a world where I can succeed as an individual, but it is very blurry.
What about you?
Yeah, for me, I don't think I did success without my family.
And I think that a lot of people will have different perspectives on this. But personally, I don't see myself being successful without my family. Okay, and that's just me. You know, you might find people are like, I can achieve. What I'm saying here is that I'm not saying that you can't achieve without them and you can't get to places without them. Right. But to me, success means getting to those places and being in certain spaces while still having my my family with me, having strong ties with my family.
And that's that's very important. I think that we do that naturally. I think that we are so grateful to come from, or those who have tasted a little bit of success, and they pay it and they owe it to their families, their parents. But I wanna dive deeper into, so when does it stop being about your family and then being about yourself, or when does it stop being about your collective and then about being your career, your aspirations, about you? Okay. There might not be a particular moment or a specific event where you're like, okay, now I'm done, or it could be. But when does it stop being about, your family and everyone, and then it starts being like, yep, I'm gonna go set myself up?
I think for me, I think it comes to a point where, I've seen it before, where you feel like you haven't, or not necessarily got the goods to finish something that you started, or you just your heart's not in it anymore. And I've seen it a few times, and I don't know these people personally, but I've seen on a few occasions where it's gotten too big for them, and the trying to make your family proud, that you have to, what do you?
Fake a graduation.
You said it. But you know what I mean? The pressures of having to be successful, the pressures of graduating is
It's real, eh?
Yeah, it's real. Yeah. It gets to a point where you can't. You feel like you can't. Well, I can't speak because I've never been in this situation. Never gone to uni for anything. But
don't say never. But yeah.
But it gets to. It's gotten to a point for some people where they feel like they have to lie in order to make their family proud.
And that speaks to actually how much pressure is on that person.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds quite absurd when you say it out loud, but that you're willing to go to that length,
Extremes.
like to that extreme, just to make, or just to meet the, just to make your family happy,
Yeah.
And that's when I think it can get a bit dangerous too, because that actually plays on people's mental health as well, because they're under all this, because of what's been told to them from when they're young.
Do you think do you feel that the onus is on them for lying about it, or on the parents for putting that much pressure on you? What do you think?
That's a tough topic in itself, because having family pressures, that's especially us Pacific Islanders, that's what we feel a lot of the time. Even when it's not to do with going to university, maybe it's finding a job, maybe it's providing, playing an instrument at church, like just it's just it's like little pressures like that eventually kind of add on, and then it weighs us down a lot. And then just going back to Bo's question, when do you find the independence? I think for myself, I'm never really going to find it, because my identity is my family. So
Nice.
that's my success is always going to have my family. But in saying that, I also really believe that if your family is holding you back and you can't succeed, then you really need to evaluate where you are at, or where I am at, because I think it's important for that individual to succeed so their family can come with them, right? Because there's no point of you trying to succeed, but then you're just getting pulled back, or you're getting held down.
One step forward, two steps back.
Yeah, so I believe that there are times where you can be independent to become successful, to bring your family with you. But I believe for myself, a lot of the times being successful is doing it with your family.
Yeah, hard. And one thing, like if we look at the situation, coming back to what we mentioned about the graduation and all that, if we look at the two sides here, so on one side you have the hopes and the dreams of parents who came from pretty hard life. They've come over, most of our parents had come here to New Zealand looking for a better life for themselves and for their families. Then on the other side, you have us, the individual, who is, essentially like burdened with carrying this. And so there's the two sides to me. I don't think one is more important than the other. Right? But I think they both need to be acknowledged in that, yes, you came with these hopes and dreams, but the amount of pressure and how difficult it is to carry these things, it's actually really hard. And we've seen time and again how this really impacts our people negatively.
I feel that too, like my other, because there's the pressures of obviously the typical dream of success, and that's to graduate, and a lot of our families kind of push us down the avenue anyways. And then you mentioned, people start faking degrees or faking, like we laugh about it, but it's actually we laugh. It's a real thing, It's a real thing. And but on another side of things, like some people actually graduate, but they do it in a degree where they like have no sort of like, I'm just doing it to satisfy my parents, or I'm doing it to actually say, yep, I've got the piece of paper now, can I go live my life, kind of things. And even though it hasn't aligned to any sort of career, but you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it because. And
that speaks to a really important point of how our families and how our community have traditionally seen successful, and how we've defined success and what we've been taught it to be our whole lives, Question.
And it comes back to the question that I posted a little like earlier. Okay, so is graduating or is being capped with a certificate from any respective university a still relevant today as a for not a form
Measure
but
of
as a
success.
measure, a great measure of success for us specific and for anyone?
For me personally, no. I have never been to university, so I come from that point of view. But I also know a lot of people that have been to university that haven't enjoyed the experience either, nor are they doing the degree that they really want to do. But yeah, I come from a perspective of no, I don't think having a degree is a measure of success, because I measure success differently anyways, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I think I'll disagree in that I do believe that it is a measure of success, like if you're able to achieve it, right? I mean, on the other side of the coin is like, I know a lot of people who haven't gone to university and work in jobs that they hate. In saying that, do I believe that you need to go to university to be successful? No, I don't. And if I had my way, no. But nah, I studied and I have no regrets about it. But I do know that it's not for everyone. Hey, I don't think it's for everyone. And I am of the opinion that as Pacifica, it's maybe time for us to start moving away from associating success only with people who graduate, only with lawyers and doctors and so on. Because you can be, as Jeff was saying, successful in your own right and in so many other different areas in life, eh?
Yeah, I'm the same as Jeff. I don't measure success with having graduated or having a degree. I feel it's unfair, like to some people who never got that opportunity, right? Like to to go to uni or have a chance to strive towards uni. And saying that, some of us who did have the opportunity to go and just mucked around.
Just spend your time in.
I also spend
your time in Commons.
Commons. I don't even know what that is, but I don't feel that not going to uni is
the be all, eh?
Be all or end all of a successful life. Like getting a job, providing for your family, those are the things for me.
Finger snaps.
I
like that one.
Yeah, and that's, I think for me, university is it's a great stepping stone or like point into not necessarily the right direction, but a direction. And like the greatest thing about university is not actually coming out with the degree. And I think it's more so the journey to finding yourself, and maybe something that that we shouldn't necessarily overlook. And the journey isn't necessarily about coming out with I got this paper or I got that paper, but actually if you leave university and it's not for you, that's okay. And that's where I would say yes, like Chris, yes and no as well, because we, especially our generation, or like since we've come up, our parents, like it's the cliche, moved from the islands, migrated here for a better future, and what they saw was the certificate will get you well on your way to that brighter future. But I think just naturally, as we become parents and we have children of our own, we will start to move towards the next adventure or the next challenge for our kids. Okay, but then in saying that, so if it's not necessary and not necessarily the greatest measure of success for our age or our generation, what is then? What is success to us now? What does it look like to you? What does it look like for me? Okay.
Success to me is as I said before, it's providing for your family. It's putting food on the table. It's providing shelter. It's that homeless man that tries to find his first meal of the day. That's success. Eh? It's the single mother. You know, I talk from experience. It's that single mother who provides for her children.
Yeah.
That's success. Because if we're now, looking at success as a degree, which there's nothing wrong with that and saying that, like what the boy said, you know, it's a yes and a no. But I look at success as more of a mindset.
Nice.
Rather than an actual thing. Because you can wake up, go to work, earn money, come home. That's a successful day. So it is really relative. It is very subjective as well to the person. And that's why when we talk and we have these discussions, it's all about you decide. Because it's all up to you what your measure of success or what success looks like to you. So that's I come from it at that perspective anyways.
Nice.
Yeah, just to pretty much double down what I said before. It's for me. It's being a provider, like providing for your family. Not necessarily like income wise. It's being a leader for your family, being a great role model. It's raising your kids right. Hey, it's all those little things to me. It's those are the little things to me that define success. Like,
Yeah, I guess you guys kind of said it all.
Yeah.
One thing I add in there is I completely understand the idea of being the provider. Eh?
Yeah.
I think you can achieve that in a number of different ways, but you can also be doing that, being a provider, but be absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
Right.
Eh? And this is where we briefly talked about this before, Jeff, about joy and happiness. And I think for me it's providing, but also doing something that brings me joy.
Yeah.
Doing something that's meaningful in my life.
Yep.
Right? I could be a provider and I could be doing a job that I hate going to every day.
Yeah, true.
Right? And the thing that gets me up is like I gotta pay the bills around here or something. Something like that. But for me, success is being able to provide, but also being able to do something that I really enjoy.
do we say, do we say that because we've grown up with the resources? You know what I mean? Like so, you're saying that you can be a provider and like joy coming out of that. Like I look at someone like my dad who come from the islands, who just quickly he come from the islands. He's a child. He's one of 9, siblings. He sacrificed his education for the rest of his siblings to go to school, and he stayed and he looked after the plantation at home. Moved over to New Zealand, and with the no resources that he had, found a job and has kept that same job for 30 years. He's that to me is success. Like he's come and he's provided. He's brought his family up and myself, and he's like provided a good life for me.
Shout out to the legend.
Yeah.
Honestly, this man is
The only good things come out.
the only good. He's the best thing about Aaron, and that's his old man. Shout out to the legend. Just real quick. He'll probably never watch an episode. He'll probably never watch what we're
Just
doing.
show him this part, Aaron. Just show him this part.
He's
But
still asking
honestly,
if we
he is the great,
why
one
we
of
don't
the,
have girlfriends.
but he is one of the greatest role models and one of the greatest men in our lives. But yeah, it's just
And it's people like that, like Aaron's dad and your mother and our parents as well, that have afforded us the opportunity, right?
Yeah.
And this is where I start getting to conversations that I have with young people. It's like, listen, this is the platform we've been given.
Yep.
In education.
yeah.
Jeez. Lunch.
Free lunch now.
Free lunches now. We've been afforded so many things, right? So our grind has to be different.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be doing the same grind as my dad anymore, because he already done that for me for the last 30-something years.
Yeah.
Hey, and so you're absolutely right, because we do have the resources. So I think that, 100%, we owe that to them, to be doing something that we enjoy. Hey.
Yeah. And that's and that'll be my measure of success. Like it's really making the best or making the most out of any situation that you're in. Whether you whether you are fortunate enough to succeed in sports or whether you're going down the university pathway, have a look at yourself. Are you making the best out of that situation? And you may not be, and that's fine, because it might be the next journey after that, or it might be the challenge that you face after that. And that's why I always think to myself about success. If I was think of my own success, if I was to have any, and maybe it's just getting up and going to work, and they're like, that's successful day. That is a very successful day.
You actually brushed your teeth.
It's making the best out of any situation, and bringing out the best or the best possible outcome out of any situation, which leads us to another very interesting, and I think a few of us have touched it. How much money? How much money? So think about your bank account right now.
Enough.
Yep.
Think about all the negatives that you see, and then how much money could you earn or make to make you feel that you are successful or that you are living a good life? If success is measured by money, okay, which I think pays a little, not 1% of success.
It matters. It does
matters, eh?
It matters. I think money does play a part in success. Money, it is a very touchy subject.
Do some people marry for money?
Money is a very touchy subject, especially as Pacific Islanders. We grow up, our parents tell us not to ask how much money they have, or it's not our business to know. It's something that we normally hide away from people. But I think money is very important to success because it's what provides, right? Especially in today's society where you have to pay for everything. But the amount of money, that's honestly up to the person. Like, I know.
What's it to you?
Yeah, what's it to me? Like, I know, I've heard heaps of stories of rich people that have a lot of money but are unhappy, right? So there's like, I don't know what would be that amount for myself.
No problems.
Unhappy working.
I don't know. I don't know what that would be for myself, but I know I just want enough to provide and to indulge a little bit. You know,
Yeah, there it is.
And go out to the movies. You know, go out
some more Yeezys.
buy some Yeezys. You know, like stuff that I enjoy. But that stuff, like the amount of money in general, doesn't really matter as long as you have peace and joy in your heart about what's in your bank account. Because you can have all the money in the world but still be unhappy, or you can have too little and wish for more. But the more you have, the more problems that comes with it. So
More money, more problems.
yeah, like what the boy said, more money,
like
more
that.
problems.
More money, more problems.
Yeah, nah, I hear what you're saying, Jeff. I guess what I'm thinking is, so, as we said before, success and family, right? They're like this. What if you had no money but still had your family? Are we still happy? Are we still skipping down the road?
Because
What
all
if-
we have
what
is
if-
each other?
But what if you had your degree and no money?
Or what if you go set out to do your degree, you don't finish it, and now you're left with this massive loan or this massive debt?
That's a real thing.
That's
Don't talk about my life like that.
That's a real thing.
It is.
No,
very real.
like 100%. Like I hear exactly what Jeff's saying because I feel the same way. I don't think that there's any number that I could put on it, but does it check off these things? Am I able to provide for my family without having to sell drugs? Or launder any? Eh? But am I able to provide for my family? Can we pay our bills? Man, can we give to when people need it?
Yeah.
Can I help people?
Yeah.
Right? Am I in a position to do that? And probably a few other small things. But if it meets that criteria, that number, whatever it is, then yep. If we think about the average,
You're looking at like 2 million.
that's what I made last year.
Oh,
No, but if you look at the average household income in New Zealand, what is it, about 55,000?
50K?
Yeah,
Yeah.
50, and which isn't much.
no.
And like given how much things cost nowadays, right?
Mm.
So it would be a little higher than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, can I provide? Can I sleep at night knowing that my bills are paid? Do I have a little bit of money to do some nice things,
Yep.
Buy my wife something nice. And do I have some money especially to give when people need.
Yeah,
Hey.
that's such an important part. Eh?
And saying that, can I have some money? And saying that, got 20 bucks.
Hook it up, brother.
Those are all the same things that I was like, I was saying, like,
Yeah.
eventually I want to own my own house, have a car, just not live paycheck to paycheck sort of thing. Even though I don't right now, but like, not having to check your account to see if you have enough.
Oh, you don't do that anymore?
Not going into overdraft like. No, yeah, it's the having enough for, stuff that people who are in need or
Basic
family
necessities,
in need.
Basic necessities.
Yeah, those are the things for me that
Do you guys remember when you were younger? And the lies you said to your parents, I'm going to buy you a nice car. Then you grew up and realized how much things cost, and you thought, ooh.
I think we still have those aspirations there, right?
yeah,
We
yeah.
just need to get to a level of certain success.
I just thought I'd be
How-
there.
score
I'd be there
50
by
tries
now.
in the NRL.
But how important is financial freedom?
Oh,
We
man.
may never get there, but honestly,
speak
hey,
that
now
right
that
now.
if I think about all the your answers and everything that, like, it's money that you obviously would need to provide, need to do whatever, but also have something to to fall back on, or maybe to indulge in Jeff's case. Hey, interesting. But yeah, it's that for me it's like a house. A house is like that's, I think, the
Home
for any
ownership, eh?
home, like home ownership, and like I've grown a new appreciation of our parents or those who came into and got into home ownership, and especially more recently moving into home, like any families or any households who have moved into home ownership. Man, more power to you. Share some share some funds, but that's like, because the joy part of it, like the providing part is in the money as well, but also like the joy part of, like, if you were working a job that you were so stressed and that you live such an unhappy lifestyle, but you were making enough to satisfy all your needs financially, I feel like the burden of working that job kind of decreases or like wears out over time. But that's what are your like financial freedom, like, got any tips? Got any tips?
Do you take tips from people who are
Like dream tips.
still living in bondage?
This is the time of the show where we go to dream tips, like tipping about things you know nothing about, with little to no experience.
Invest.
So kind of like Jeffrey's NRL tips?
Mate, who was the one that went 0 from 2 last week?
I'm gonna say invest. Even like Paul said, stuff you know nothing about. I'm gonna say invest.
But it sounds good to say,
Good
eh?
to say, but I have no idea how to do it. So.
One of my things that I've kind of taken on in the last few years is just learning to understand this whole idea of financial literacy.
Yeah.
And some of the conversations I've had with financial advisors and people who work in that sector, it's like, man, these conversations didn't happen in my house growing up. These conversations didn't happen for us. And so I guess that's a big part of my heart, moving into this, like, now that I'm almost 25, into the second part of
35.
like, in this next chapter of my life is really about building my competency around
that. So.
Becoming financially free, whatever that looks like to you, but just understanding how to manage your financials.
Man, like something. Oh, it's not as simple. Our parents probably, or those at home, probably gone through it. But like actually getting a mortgage and like getting a loan from the bank, how to pay taxes, and like
that stuff that you should have learned in school, but we weren't really taught properly.
Because it's a scam.
But yeah,
It's a scam.
financial freedom, like I was saying before, in our households, especially growing up, it's taboo to talk about finances and money, because especially I think the way I grew up is, don't talk about money with anybody, because that you shouldn't need to know what's in my account. because it's like a very touchy subject. But the older I grow up and the more mom starts to understand as well, especially myself around the area of finances, how important it is to, break the generational cycles, poverty cycles. And I think that's why it's so important to have financial literacy and to know how to budget, to know how to use your money correctly. Even if you don't have that much, it's because we want to eventually break poverty cycles where the next generations, because we have got to think generationally. The next generations, they thrive, and then their next generation after that thrives. So financial freedom to me looks like, okay, what can I do now, that will break these poverty cycles so that the next generation is better off.
Yeah. And man, listening to what this guy said, right? Invest. And I won't say I know everything about it, but like investing is a concept to our parents. It's like, you give me your money and I'll put it over here, and
then we
3
have a
years
pyramid scheme.
and then you buy that. And then in 3 years' time, hopefully it returns 7% on, and they're like, huh? But we have very real problems, right? Right now in front of me. I.e. this maliu, this putu, this birthday coming up, this family thing, that's and this is where I think a lot of our people, and this is a whole nother
discussion.
And we're going to bring that to you too, because people have been asking for that one.
Because a big part of being successful, especially if you're Samoan, I speak from a Samoan perspective, is about being able to we'll say, it's being able to bless others in their times of need, aka wharaulaves, or whatever your family's going through. And so a lot of, especially when we talk about finances, will go, and we have to put money aside for that stuff too. My thing that I more recently started to think about, and when I started working, was that I started to see the beauty in Samoa per se, and that investing in a community that will look after you in your time of need. And sometimes it is financial. Sometimes it is putting money towards their uncle, auntie that people always say, oh yeah, we don't even know. It's like the aunties, uncles, they're always but sometimes it is, sometimes it is putting putting money towards your family whamoemoe, or your family funeral, or your family wedding, because it is part of that. We're investing in our culture, in our families, in our king, so that when in your time of need, in funerals that are more closer to you, who are the people that show up?
That's exactly that point, that we're talking about providing for. People might get confused and think, oh, just provide for my nuclear family, sorry. But it's all those things, and then it's also the giving in time. When people,
and that's why, what we were saying before, it's important to have financial freedom so that you can give
Shout out Uncle Dave Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey. You can give out of a place from from your heart, not out of obligation, not out of, oh man, where am I going to get this money to give to my family because they need it? But being financially free means that you can give with your whole heart, and you're not struggling to do so.
And it amazes me, to think the very little our parents had, and the very and the things that they were able to build.
They're the greatest examples.
And they contributed to.
Hard. And with that being said, people, act your wage. Please
act your wage.
It's when you talk about the Samoa stuff, and what it means to be financially, I'll say stable enough to give in those times. I think of a situation that I had with my dad. It was a few years back. Because he has his Westpac app on my phone, so I can see his account. And one day I just went on and I saw 000,
Uncle's living a good life.
And I said to him, Dad, you've got a lot of money. Can I have some money? I said to him, can I have some money? Look at me. I go 000. And he goes, son, this isn't for me. I've put all this money away for the time that your grandma passed away, my mum. And this is like, I save all this, and, in case anything happens to her. And then it just made me realize, like, man, like, this is like a real thing for our parents. They don't necessarily save towards, like,
themselves or
or
retirement.
like, what do you call it, like cars and all. Like they think about, the family side of things,
and that speaks really to a lot of how our people think, right? Their psyche, like this is not just something like, oh, it's Fatsa more time, I better give some money. It's like these people are thinking about this all the time. Why? Because this is what matters to them. This is a part of who they are, and again, going back to what we said, a part of their success, is being able to do those things, like your dad being able to do that for his mother, for his family, and so on.
So where to from here for you, or for you individually, like, what's the next thing for you? We talked about all the things that we think of success. How are you in the next period of your life planning to work towards that success? Or if we, like, for an example, we talked about financial literacy. How are we moving towards, or how are you moving towards financial literacy?
If I think of my life and where I am right now, I feel like my grandparents and my parents have done a lot of the groundwork, and our foundation is set. That I'm not starting 10 paces back. So I feel like, okay, our foundation is set and it's quite solid. So my job right now is to build on the foundation and not start back where my grandparents or my parents were when they first started. And for me, that looks like, honestly, understanding how to use my finances a lot better, how to manage those things. But another thing, and this is like, I had this discussion with my mother. I said, man, why on earth would you give me all those calories? And so, what are you talking about? It's like, you used to take me to McDonald's and sit me in the drive-thru, and I learned this later on in life. But also learning and understanding how to take care of ourselves, physically, which I think is another really important part, especially for us Pasifika people,
that well-being,
and that thing, because it's not just one thing. It's not just, you're not gonna be just happy if you have your finances sorted. You're not just gonna be happy if you have a six-pack or I know can bench 250 like me. Big stack, who's big stack?
Warm up.
Like, it's your whole being, the everything, the mental, the physical, the spiritual, all of that stuff comes into play. And I think for me, it's like making sure I get all those things right, so that I can teach that to my kids. Not saying that my parents done a terrible job at that, not at all, but you don't know what you don't know, and so there's a lot of things that my parents didn't know, and they were kind of learning on the go as well. And that's cool, because now it's my job to take what they didn't know, to learn it, to understand it, and then be able to teach it.
I'm pretty much on the same boat as you, Chris. I think also for me, the next step would be to get into the next bracket, so financially. So if that means upskilling, looking for ways to better myself, to put myself in a better bracket financially. I'll just say that. That'll go a long way, I guess, to me achieving my goals of owning my own house, having kids, and living better that way, I guess. Like, not living check to check, and I don't want to be renting. That's another thing. I don't want to be renting. I want to own my own house, and I think for me to get there, it's to upskill and or either that or start an OnlyFans.
What are you gonna do with the current account you have? You're just gonna get rid of it. I want my money back.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen.
You want to see this, Mo? Let a bro know.
Yeah, leave it to the one on your top lip, not the. Okay.
For me, I think the next season of life, in terms of success and finances, is implementing the right systems and the right processes to get to where I want to be. because I think a lot of us, especially myself, have goals, but we don't know how to achieve those goals. we don't have systems in place or processes in place to actually reach those goals. So success for me is still doing what I'm doing now, but providing for my family, being there for my friends when they need. Just giving to somebody in need. Like that is what I'm currently doing now, but maybe do it at a greater extent, at a greater level. So that's, when financially, when I can give to more people in need, give to people that, like for me, I don't think I've really told anybody this, but I have a passion for giving to solo parents, like with a lot of kids, because that was my experience growing up, is that mum was a solo mum of 4 kids. So for me is now implementing a system where my finances are in a good place so that hopefully I can give regularly to solo parents, to single parent homes where I can help a little bit and know that they can know that there's hope out there for them as well. So yeah, next season of life, like all the boys said, be more smart with my finances. Obviously, that we could all do that, but then implement the right systems, have the right process to get to where I want to go.
How important is it to have a process, or maybe like anything, like whether it be setting goals or planning maybe your next career journey or the next career challenge. But for me, it'll have to be definitely around providing my kids, honestly setting up like generational wealth. And maybe just like working on something that I could leave behind, if not be maybe it could be just a house, or not just a house because it's so hard to get a house. But maybe it's having something to my name, so when I go, then there's something that they can reach back on. But then also work on my passion, and that's something I'm still trying to navigate.
I think we're kind of doing that right now.
Yeah, this is definitely a passion project of ours, and we get to share it with the closest boys that we have. But also having purpose, like finding, so like I'm like wrapping up, not a contract, but wrapping up in one career. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to next. So maybe like actually sitting down, having a look at what the next 2-3 years look like for me, and like nice. Or wherever that takes me, and that's my maybe journey to the next season of my life.
And it sounds corny, but the sky really is the limit, fellas.
It really is.
It really is. So, in kind of wrapping up all of this, I think it's important to note that, with everything that we have discussed, I'm sure there's other people that are sitting there saying, I don't, that's not really for me, or I disagree in that area. Good.
But can they agree that if we're talking finances, the greatest asset is yourself, okay? The greatest asset that you have control over, or you have power over, is yourself. And if you can work on yourself, honestly, you'll be the greatest.
And there's a ton of people I know need to work on themselves. Like you. I don't want to say names, but if this is stinging you just a little bit too much, it's you.
Yeah. But
as always, share and like and subscribe, but comment, man. We love to hear from you guys. We love to hear your perspective. We love to hear your feedback, because at the end of the day, we can sit here and talk all day, all night, and provide as much perspective as we can, but you decide. You decide.
And again, we're not the experts, but we do speak through lived experiences. At the end of the day, hashtag
it's night.
Hashtag
you decide.
You decide.
All right, that's us, boys. Another one in the bag. Shout out one more time to my guy. Can we just... I just want to show some love for my Uso right now.
Can we turn the camera on?
Can we turn the camera? Oh my gosh. Shout out to the Uso Matsuo Slips, man. This guy's underappreciated, okay?
It's the
I
work
swear.
behind the scenes that matter.
My little boys, that's us. Millie.
Subscribe to my Instagram.
Clap.
Go little mama, when she feel got a blessing like Rihanna. She see me dressed in Prada,